Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show, you guys. Welcome to Tuesday Tales Presents, and we are reading from my book, The Ballad of Broken Bird. I am going without my equipment tonight. We're in a well, not in a new studio, but we're not at the office. They've got a meeting going on there, so I am over here across the street at the Mercantile. Good evening, Kevin. Hello, Jessica. And hi, Beth. Good to see you. I'm kind of sad I'm missing out on a city council meeting right now because the city wants to vote on whether our EMS services are necessary here in this town. So it'd be kind of nice to get in on that. I don't have any studio equipment with me at all. I'm just going straight off the laptop. Is everything coming through okay? Sounds okay? Opening music was alright? Yeah, Bobby said he'd fill me in on what's going on when he got back, so we got that going on. Yep, that's right, Jessica. Yeah, because, some people in this town think you don't need an ambulance or police or fire. So it sounds good. All right, thanks. Thanks, Beth. Well, we've got good. Thank you, Kevin. We've got we've traveled a long ways with Broken Bird. He's gone from Minnesota all the way over to Washington, down through California, and he met up with some good friends. He met up with a gal named Josie Whalen. Oh, you didn't hear the music? Okay, so that must not have gone through because I don't have the studio equipment. So, but anyway, yeah, I was playing music at the beginning. Like I've been trying to do that just to pull some people in. But anyhow, we've he met up with Josie Whalen up in Seattle, and made a really good friend with her. And then he met up with Seamus, Robin, and Victoria, and made good friends with them. Became very close with Victoria, as they both shared a cancer diagnosis that was pretty fatal. Um, and they did an LA tour. Played the song House of Pain, sung by the White Buffalo. So, um, yeah, so Victoria, they went out to LA and they toured the streets of LA, and then they went out into Joshua Tree State Park and started tripping on some mushrooms. And when they were coming out of their trip, Victoria succumbed to her cancer, and they spent some time in the hospital. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is a good. I thought it was fitting for these two chapters. Um, so they tonight's chapter is about the three of him and his two friends bringing Victoria to be laid to rest out at Oak Flat, Arizona, at an Indian reservation out there, to be laid with who she claimed to be her soulmate. So begrudgingly, Broken Bird brought her remains out there, and that's where we're going to be picking up with the story tonight. If you're new to the live stream, what we do on Tuesday nights, we read a chapter or two from my book, The Ballad of Broken Bird. If you haven't, if you're just joining us for the first time tonight, you can get caught up on the book on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ Bradley Bodeker 70. And just go on one of the playlists there for Broken Bird, and you should be able to get caught up there. All these live streams, they get canceled they get erased after 30 days by Facebook. So I have to download all of these. Everything I do on here, I download and shove over on my YouTube page so that they're not lost. So you guys can go down there and check them out. And then Thursdays, if you're new to the b.hive Productions page, Thursdays we have Toe Tappin' Thursdays, aptly named by our very own Kevin Walzer. And basically, Bobby and I, or the Wild Hair, we do a little jamming. We try to come up with some songs to play for you guys, some new, some old, and we do have a big challenge that Bobby promised Chuck for this Thursday, and yeah, we still haven't really gotten that together, so we'll see what happens. Anyhow, we do that, and then Sundays we have coffee with friends, and basically I just get together with whoever. Mainly it's been Bobby. We added Pimo, and we sit and have coffee and just shoot the shit and have a great morning together with friends and coffee. So we plan on doing a once a month special for Friends with Coffee, or Coffee with Friends, and we're going to feature a veteran one Sunday a month. So we do have one picked out. I got to give them a call and get something set up for that. So we'll be doing that. Anyhow, that being said, so I'm totally unprepared for tonight. Usually I read through the chapters that I'm going to read you so I can get the voices down and the cadence and all that stuff, and I don't stumble through and sound like a kindergartner trying to read a book out loud to their class. Unfortunately, that did not happen, only because I found out that the office is being used, so I had to run home and I had to grab my key to the Mercantile here and head down here, and I didn't get a chance to get anything done. So here I am. We're going raw tonight. We're raw dogging it tonight, you guys. Also, it's going to be bright in here because I don't have a magic switch right next to me to switch off and disappear on you. So it's a little bit different ambiance for tonight's reading, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And I hope you guys enjoy chapters 29 and chapters 30. And I figure let's get right into it, if y'all don't mind that. And I'll check in with you guys. Actually, I got a monitor here, so I can converse with you guys as you sit and chat. The Ballad of Broken Bird, Chapter 29. 4.5 hours we drove. I couldn't even hear Lucy roaring through the pipes. Victoria's remains were bungeed onto the back of the seat. We had her cremated at the local crematorium. My heart was somewhere in my pocket, really craving something strong that only Irish whiskey could probably dull. I could almost feel her arms around me, but perhaps that was just a wish, my overactive imagination. Wishing that I was someone important, someone that would be missed. But I thought that of all of them. Jean, the kid's mom, Vicky. Robin had called Vicky's kids. They had both said that they had said their goodbyes and were going to leave it at that. And it made me think of my own kids. Would they be at my funeral? Or would they just say, "The old man took off years ago. We said our goodbyes then"? The thought of that broke my heart even more. Oak Flat, Arizona was an old copper mining town. The Apache tried to hold off the mining companies from burrowing into their sacred lands. But we all read the history books. and know how that ends. Deep white pockets dig deep black holes when there's money to be had. Fuck our sanctity, fuck our heritage, and fuck our ancestors. Hey Chuck, good to see ya. I've heard the same rants from whites telling us skins that we needed to get over what happened 100 years ago. That they won our land fair and square from the war. What fucking war? There was no war. There was uprisings. There was biological genocide. And there were broken treaties. But there was no war. And there was no fair and square. Maybe those same people needed to get over the Mexicans coming into this country and working and taking their jobs. How would they feel if they had to start speaking Spanish? Alright, I'll get off my soapbox. The chief knew Kai and also knew Vicky and her wishes to be taken to his spot. The tribe was very welcoming. The ceremony was long, and even though I was one of them, I still felt like an outsider. But I feel that way anywhere and with anyone. They brought her remains to a cave. Somewhere deep inside, a man named Kai lay to rest, waiting to receive her. I don't know what to say, son, Dad said over the phone. I would always have my mom to cry to when life became too sad. Or my grandma. They were both gone now, and I just had my dad. He cared, of course, but he didn't understand me or how deeply I felt things. Maybe because he wasn't in touch with his own hurts. Who knows? I felt comfort just hearing his voice and knowing he was breathing on the other side of the phone. It's okay, Pop, I said. I don't expect you to have the answers to everything. I just wanted someone to listen. Well, I know the answer, but you're always welcome to come home, son, he said. No one would blame you. You know I can't. I don't know that. I don't get what you're doing. Seems like you're chasing ghosts around, and that worries me. Well, what would you have me do? Well, if it were up to me, I'd have you at home. You should be spending time with your family. No one cared about spending time with me until I got cancer, Pop. You were the only one, and maybe Missy. You know that's not true. Do I? The last time I had cancer surgery, who was there? Well, your stepmother and I were there, and so was your grandmother, and my sister showed up. And what about my siblings, Pop? Where were they? Well, look, I can't argue about this right now. I love you, but I gotta go. There was silence for a while, and he finally said, okay. I'm sorry. I felt like a piece of shit for snapping at him. Is everything okay? You're feeling good and all that? Don't worry about me. Your stepmom is taking good care of me. I took a big sigh, let him off the hook, and popped a goddamn Marlboro into my mouth. How you doing? It was Seamus. I'm okay, I answered. Well, you don't look okay. Yeah, I need a fucking drink. Well, then let's go have a fucking drink then. We drank at the Silver King. It was filled with tourists and wannabe bikers. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to punch a few faces. Not that anyone was doing anything to annoy me other than existing. It's just, when I'm hurting, I have a strong urge to hurt those around me. Most of that wannabe crowd would usually give a million excuses for an ass whipping. What are you gonna do from here? Seamus asked after our first two shots. Keep going, I said. Think in the morning I'll be heading to Fort Bliss and catch 10 and follow the border for a while and hopefully end up in San Antonio. Anyone special in San Antonio? Yeah, I got a friend out there. Old high school friend. I think he's still out there. What if he's not? Robbie asked. Well, then I'll go see the Alamo or something. I ordered another round of shots. Well, Seamus said, his words were beginning to slur. If you make it up to New Jersey, you'll stop out, right? Yeah, of course I will. I know you're going through a lot of pain right now, Robbie said, placing her hand on mine. Please, just be careful out there on the road, okay? Sure, Robbie. Sure. We went through a lot together in our short time of knowing one another, Seamus said. You feel like family. I smiled distantly at him. You did the right thing by her, you know. Yeah, man, I know. My life is filled with doing the right thing. Every time, it broke my heart. Come on, bro. It can't be that heavy. I got 2 kids. 2 stepkids. Lee and Cora. Their mother and I were pretty volatile together. We were either hot and heavy or at each other's throats. We stayed together for the kids, and they looked at me like I was their real dad. They gave me purpose. But the fights were getting worse and worse. One night, she kicked my ass out the door. I screamed at her to give me the debit card or at least a check link so I could have some money to live on until I got settled. She refused to open the door, and she refused to talk to me. So I pounded on that door. I swear to God I was going to bust that motherfucker off the hinges. And then I noticed 2 sets of frightened eyes peeking at me from the bedroom window. That's when I realized then that I was a monster, not a father. So I thought I'd do the right thing and just go. Just disappear. Like, for good? Robbie asked. Yeah. You haven't even called them? No. But those kids love you. How can you just... Because they saw who I am inside. That's not who you are inside. Obviously, they saw the real you, or they wouldn't have loved you the way they do. How could they love me? I said with a little bitterness. I was screaming and swearing like a sailor, pounding on that door and threatening their mother. No one could love that. Bro, Seamus said calmly. Sometimes we're with the wrong people. A horrible cocktail of dysfunction that turn us into toxic monsters. That doesn't make us who we are. Robbie and I are completely different from who we were with our exes. Maybe. Not maybe. We haven't known you that long, but we've seen you be you. And what we saw, we fell in love with. Don't lose whoever that guy is. No matter what you find out there on the road, don't lose you. Thanks, you guys, I said. I felt less like punching someone, and more like enjoying the last moment I had with my new friends. We drank well into the night. I don't remember crashing out. Hell, I don't remember even getting a room. But when I woke up, there I was in some strange room with heavily starched sheets smelling like Clorox. After my first cup of coffee, I made a phone call. Hello? Her voice was the same, maybe a little deeper. Uh, is this... I was at a loss for words. What do you say to a kid you haven't seen in 5 years? Dad? She still called me Dad. After all this, she still called me Lee? What? She paused. Why are you calling? Why was I calling? Was this something a man decides to do in a drunken stupor? Hey, call your kids after you abandoned them 5 years ago. Better yet, tell them you've got cancer and are on the road to Splitsville. I just wanted to check up on you, see how you are. You've got a lot of nerve, she spat. You call me now? Why? You need money or something? No, You dying of cancer or something? Actually what? Yes, I am. I am dying of cancer. I don't know what I thought, kiddo. I thought we needed to patch things up. I know I've been a shit ass and left and never came back. You didn't deserve that. Nor did Coral. Dad, Please, just let me finish. I was ashamed of how I acted that night. I never wanted you to see that side of me. I thought it would be best if I just left you guys alone. I thought you'd be better off without me. There was a deep, long pause, and I noticed my palms were greasy with sweat. Well, she said after a moment, you were wrong. We needed you. There were so many times that we needed you. You had your mom. It's your turn to be quiet and let me finish, Dad. Fair enough. We thought you'd come home after a while, like you used to when you and Mom would get into a fight. Even Mom thought you'd come home, but you didn't. Coral held a candle for you the longest. And one day I was going out to play with my friend Andy, and there she was. She was crying on the front steps. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she missed Daddy. That last part stabbed my heart the deepest. I'm so goddamn sorry, Lee. I was crying now. I don't have a good enough excuse. How much time do you have left? I don't know. 6 months, maybe more. Jesus, Dad, your timing is shit. Can you come see me? Oh, honey. You still living with Mom? In Minnesota? Oh, God, no. I'm living in Galveston, Texas now. I'm going to college out here. Where are you? I'm in Arizona now. I'm on a bit of a road trip, but I'm heading your way. I can be in San Antonio for a couple days and then come out and see you. Is Coral still in Minnesota? No. She moved out when she turned 18. She's living with her boyfriend in Kansas. Kansas? Boyfriend? Dad, we're not little girls anymore. No? I suppose you're not. I'll call her and let her know you're coming out here. Maybe she'll fly out. Let me know. I'll buy her plane ticket. Are you sure? Yeah, kiddo. I mean, Lee. You can call me kiddo. Thanks. I love you, kiddo. I love you too, Dad. I'll see you in a few days. My heart was warm again. And even though the loss of Victoria had broken it, To hear those words come from my kids started to mend again. I met Seamus and Robin in the lobby. They were taking advantage of the continental breakfast. We hugged and said our goodbyes. They were on their way back by way of Colorado and then east to home. I will cherish those two to the last breath from my damaged lungs. I had no right to contact those kids, to make my way back into their lives, carrying a new batch of hurt inside my body. Haven't I already done enough? They had needed me. Sure, I was in the background when they graduated high school, sitting awkwardly, lost in a sea of parents. But I wasn't present. If there's anything a child needs while growing up in divorce, it's security. And I didn't do that. I ran, much like I'm running now. Some things a man deserves, and some things he does not. I don't deserve what's coming to me down the road. Hopefully the forgiveness of two young ladies. And they don't deserve the reality that's also coming to them. I'm sorry, my dears. Your old man is a selfish son of a bitch. And that is the end of chapter 29. And we're cruising up on chapter 30. Everybody doing all right? Everything sound good? Everything's cool beans? Hey, Pimo. Alright, let's dive in here. Chapter 30. Awesome, you guys, awesome. Chapter 30. There's probably nothing worse than hot, dry desert wind blowing in your face at 70 miles per hour when you're hungover. But by the time I got to El Paso, Texas, I was feeling a little better and quite hungry. I stopped at a little diner called AJ's and ordered a burger and an ice cold root beer. Flipped open my phone and dialed my friend Carlos, who was living in San Antonio. We had gone to high school together. Evidently, between graduation and now, his mother had also died. He moved down this way to be closer to family. "Gonna be the return of the Brown Mafia," he said when I said I was stopping by. "Better warn the mayor to hide all the white women." Carlos and I were the only two brown people in the little Minnesota town we grew up in. So we joked about how we were a gang that pillaged white women. We wrote an entire script on how we snuck across the border and made our empire amongst the yacht club brats of our class. "I'll only be staying for the night, man," I said. "I've got to visit the kids in a couple of days." "Kids?" he said. "Yep." "White mama?" "See." "Attaboy." We laughed, and he said he'd have the place ready by the time I got there in the morning. I gassed up Lucy and loaded up on a few water bottles and jumped back onto Interstate 10 and followed the Rio Grande until I saw a spot off the side of the road. There's 3 wooden teepees. They stood amongst a couple of picnic tables. There was an RV parked alongside, and there were a few dirt trails that traveled to the north. I found a campsite near some fencing by a tall radio tower and pitched my tent. I should pitch my tent. The wind came down across the desert plain from the mountain ranges, a hint of cool air buried in that hot dust. I walked around looking for some fire material and looking out for rattlesnakes. It was early, 8:30 p.m. to be exact. but I wanted to knock off early so I could leave for San Antonio early and get there with enough time to spend with Carlos. The fire crackled and spit. It was a small fire, but enough to keep off the evening chill. It made me think of the fire ceremony I had at old Ben Lost Horse's property. I watched the flames dance, and I got lost in the aroma of the desert brush that burned within. Hearing the words of Ben echo in my mind. The element of fire is male. Can you hear his song? I could. It was an emotional song from a young fire. There was anger and anxiety. There was grief and sadness. All of it mingling into the night air. Trying to say something? I said to the fire. Do campfires speak? A voice said behind me. I jumped, and for a moment I thought I was being visited by spirit. Sorry, the voice said from the darkness. I couldn't make out his features, but he was male, and there was a friendly tone to his voice. I saw the fire and thought I'd come over and say hello. Hello, I said, blocking the light of the fire to see him better. I'm Jeff Weston. He held out a hand and I shook it. Nice to, meet you, I said, sitting back down. Beer? He handed me an ice-cold bottle of Grain Belt. Thanks. Mind if I come and chat with the fire with you? I did mind, but I didn't think this guy was going to listen anyways. And he didn't. He pulled up a spot of sand and sat down across from me. The wife is fast asleep, and I can't really ever sleep good on the road, he continued. Where are you from? I asked. Minnesota. Get the fuck out of here. So am I. Small world. Where are you from? I had a place in the country near a small town of Siren. Had? Yeah, had. Long story. Oh, we're from Lake Previous, little suburb of Minneapolis. Yeah, I've been there a few times. They've got that casino out there. You're native. Apache? Yes and no. I'm Weta. We're a branch of the Ojibwe. I've got Sami blood running through these old soldiers' veins. They're indigenous to Norway. I took out a Marlboro and lit it. So you just talk to campfires, not people then? He asked. What? You haven't asked me any questions. Sorry, man, I kind of lost in my head. Oh, I get that. I really do. Judging by how fast you suck down that beer and you suck on that cancer like it's oxygen and you're drowning. Well, you're pretty observant. If you'd rather be alone, I understand. But I also understand loneliness. You look like you've been on this road a long time and seen some stuff. You make a habit of deep talk with strangers? I spent many years in the desert, in the jungle, in about every inhospitable clime you can think of. The whole time with people who were trying to kill me. I fought alongside people I never met before, and my life was in their hands. There are no strangers in my world. So, you're a vet. Look at you asking another human being questions. He handed me another beer he was keeping in his pocket. Yep, I served in Iraq, Kuwait, Afghanistan, Panama, Kosovo, and did some time out there in Somalia. Jesus, you've been around. He looked down at the fire for a bit, and there was a little pain in that stare. And then he blinked, and a smile returned to his lips. I have these nightmares, he says. I'm heading back to Afghanistan, and all these people I killed thought they'd come to greet me. Fuck, I said, and swallowed the last of my second beer. Yeah, that's about right, he said. Is there medication you take to make the nightmares go away? That's pretty much all the VA does. You tell them you feel bad and they shove pills down your throat. No therapy, just drugs. I thought about my Uncle Bones and how fucked up he got whenever Vietnam got brought into the conversation. It's sad that the government teaches you how to kill, but not how to live with that fact. Well, I'm sorry, I said solemnly. I truly am. He shrugged it off. It's all good. That's all I wanted to be when I was growing up. I wanted to be a soldier, and I wanted to serve my country. But that part of me is done now. I've got a really patient, understanding, beautiful wife, and 2 really great kids, and that's who I serve now. I know what it's like to chase ghosts. Yeah, I kind of figured you did. Bro, that's all I've been doing on this whole trip. You're gonna keep chasing them until you become one. Yeah, well, that's not too far off. You thinking of offing yourself? I laughed for a quick second. No. No, I got cancer. It's catching up to me. Jeff got up, walked over to me, and sat down. Put his hand on my shoulder. Oh, I'm sorry, man, he said. Now, you didn't give it to me. Nope, I didn't. I'm sorry you're spending your last moments running alone. Oh, I got company. I bring my ancestors with me. He smiled at that. I don't know how deep his pockets were, but he produced 2 more beers for the both of us and handed one to me. Can I tell you something about ghosts? He said. I don't know what's stopping you, I smiled. They say ghosts are unresolved spirits. I don't think they're the ones that are unresolved. I think you are. Just like all those enemy soldiers that greet me in my dreams. They're dead. They moved on to the next plane. I'm the one who's wrestling with himself. They ain't there to haunt you. They're there to help you. You know, it makes a lot of sense. Well, don't tell my wife. She'll expect more out of me. And we both laughed at that. What about you? He asked. You got a wife and kids at home? I got kids, I said. Stepkids, really. But their mother and I split up, so I didn't know where I belonged in their lives. Do they want you in their lives? I didn't think they did. I wasted 5 years wondering that. But turns out they did. You gonna go see them on this trip of yours? Yeah. At least the oldest. I'm hoping she can talk the youngest into meeting up with me too. Well, I wish you the best of luck on that. Thanks. Where are your kids? Oh, they're spending time with their grandma. She needed the company after my dad died. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you didn't kill him. Touche. Both my boys are autistic. The oldest one is on one end of the spectrum and the youngest is on the other. Damn. It's been a battle. The youngest has had brain tumor surgery twice. Poor little guy. Yeah, but he's still kicking and kicking it hard. I didn't know what to say, so I just stared silently at the fire, adding some more sticks to it. So, he said to me, what were you saying to the fire when I walked up? Well, I paused as I searched for words. The spirit of the fire is male. Sometimes, when I've got something on my mind, I ask him for advice. And did he answer you? Listen for a moment. The fire hissed, popped. Yeah, I can't translate. I'm pretty sure he sent you to come over here and keep me company. Well, I'll drink to that. We clinked bottles, finished our last swallow of beer. Well, I reckon I ought to let you sleep, Jeff said and stood up. Jesus, what time of night is it? About 2:45, he said, looking at his watch. Well, shit. Guess I won't be sleeping tonight. Sorry if I kept you from something. Nah, man, you're good. I was just hoping to catch a few winks before I head to San Antonio. Oh, hell. That's about 6 hours from here. Yeah. Well, say no more. He held out his hand to me. It's been a pleasure meeting you, sir. I learned a lot, and I gained a friend. I as well, I said, pumping his hand. Thank you for stopping over here, really. Thank you for your service, and thank you for the conversation. Well, I hope I was able to say something more interesting than the flames. You did. Thank you. I hope your ghost let you rest. There's a little tremble in the side of his mouth, and then he smiled again. I hope you meet resolve before the end of things, he said, and walked back to his RV. I sat down next to my tiny fire. The flames had spoken, and now they were silent. Little sparks went heavenward from the faint orange glow of ash. I would wait until it went from orange to gray, and then I'd pack up and head on down Interstate 10 to San Antonio. And that, my friends, that is the end of chapter 30. So, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's readings. Little less dramatic than the one last week. We'll be doing, Bobby and I will be here for Toe Tapping Thursday, play some music, horribly, and then we will not be having a Coffee with Friends this Sunday, as I will be in Aberdeen visiting my granddaughter for her birthday, her second birthday. Is it her second? Yeah. Second birthday. God dang, I'm getting old, man. I am getting old. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Thank you guys very much. You guys are always here, and I very much appreciate that. I mean, it's gotten to the point where if I don't see you here, then I worry about you. There's some scary shit going on in the world, and I'm not just talking about the political stuff. We had a shooting in Gaylord last night. And things are just crazy, and temperatures are boiling, and it's getting to be a crazy world out there. So, all of you, please be careful. Worry about you. And fun birthday party. Have a great night. So, yeah. So, you guys take it easy. We will see you again on Thursday night. Bobby will be playing some music and hopefully give you some chuckles. Chuck, supposedly Bobby and I are getting together tomorrow to try to hash out Ace of Spades. We'll see what we come up with on Thursday. So, in the meantime, good to see y'all. Thank you all very much for coming out here. Especially coming out for this particular story. I've written and published a lot of books. This book here is something that I really has been a big, huge piece of my heart. And one of the things about this book is it's not complete. And we are coming up very close to where I've left off. So I got to kick it into gear and I got to get some pages written here before we catch up to that. I didn't think we'd get here. We've been reading since September and we're already jumping on to chapter 31 next week. So, yeah, I've got some, I'm going to be out of town Saturday and I'm renting a hotel in Aberdeen and it's this beautiful historic building. And, so I kind of look forward to staying there and getting some writing done there. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've also been working on some horror stories just to kind of get my writing going, my writing brain going. So there's that. But anyhow, all of this would not be possible if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you all very, 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 very freaking much. I've gained a ton of followers. We've gained a ton of people watching, which is very freaking cool. So thank you guys very much, and we will see you on Thursday. All right? Love you. Peace. And a bottle of hair grease. Oh, by the way, Broken Bird also enjoys your company as well. All right. Later.